Hi, thank you for returning back to my channel. I'm FCA, I'm a sugar skull, and I wear hundreds of costumes because I wear a costume every day to work. I did this since I worked at a bar. I used to dress up when I was in college and high school. I love Halloween, I love costuming, and I love dressing up. I've done cosplay for a long time as well. And so I decided it would be fun and hopefully helpful to some tips and tricks, if I could speak correctly, of choosing a costume. Now, that might sound ridiculous because it absolutely can be just as simple as I want to be this, I'm going as this. Yes, it absolutely can be that. But with the ability to order and be anything you want, some people might be under decision fatigue. And how do I narrow this down? I can be anything, and that can be overwhelming. So for that niche group of people, I hope that this will help. And plus, if you've done a lot of costuming or you've done very little costuming, trying to pick out what you want to be can be a bit daunting. Now, I know you might think the first thing is money, and that does come into play as a factor, of course. But the first thing you actually want to consider is your venue of where you're wearing the costume. Now, why is this first? Well, for me, for instance, I currently work at a factory where I'm allowed to dress up as long as I can put on my PPE, which is personal protective equipment. So I have to be able to put on safety glasses. So that nixes out a lot of things that would be masks, even if they're homemade masks. So like a Silent Hill nurse, for instance, unless I wanted to try to like just glue bandages onto my face, that would be a difficult costume. I have to be able to put stuff, lay them on my face. I have to wear jeans. I can wear some stuff over my jeans, but I have to wear jeans and steel-toed shoes. So if a major part of a costume is the shoes, that's just not going to work out for me. And so if you're wearing this to work, and you also want to consider the appropriateness, if you're a third grade teacher, what you're going to wear for your third grade class Halloween party is very different than the party you're going to have with a bunch of adults at the local bar. Other things that come into the venue are, if there are a lot of stairs, are you going to be climbing a bunch of things? If you're familiar with the venue, if you're going somewhere crowded, like how much bulk do you want to have? Like having those really cool wings that extend out really far, those look awesome. Do you want to be encumbered by that and maybe not even get to extend them to their full coolness in a crowded, convention hall or something like that? Same goes if there's going to be a lot of sitting, standing, or whatever. That may change your mind about wearing a giant hoop skirt. So that leads us into the next thing, which is the weather. How cold is it going to be, and how comfortable are you going to be being cold? How long is your event that you're going to? Are you just sitting out on your porch for a couple hours handing out treats? Are you going to a Halloween party at night after work? Like, there's a lot of considerations of weather. For instance, you can absolutely be the skimpiest Harley Quinn available. You can absolutely be any sexy version of anything. How good are you with being cold in that environment? If you are doing like a walk around your downtown bar hop on Halloween weekend, it's pretty cold in most places, even in the South where it gets a little warmer. You might want to consider that. Or it might be super hot if you live on the other hemisphere, say Australia. It might be really warm. So do you really want to be wearing a giant werewolf costume, like full wolf attire and furriness, while trying to hike around your town? So it's not only actual outdoor weather, but also your endurance of weather. I to consider of how willing are you to be cold for how long. If you are having a party, for instance, on a boat, if you're having a Halloween party or some kind of costume event on a boat, it's much colder on water than it is in, say, a warm house or a themed wedding. And of course, you can be anything, right? But let's consider you're going to be a different character, and you might be able to get super into character. But you do want to keep in mind your personal comfort level. Because again, like being a sexy Lara Croft Tomb Raider type person, it sounds great. But if you have problems with your own security of your body, or you simply are more modest and do not like showing, like I do not like showing, like whatever your weird little personal quirk is, keep that in mind for when you are wearing your costume or picking out your costume. Like, are you going to be comfortable in your venue, in your setting, wearing something super revealing? Are you going to be comfortable wearing a full bodysuit of some kind? Are you comfortable wearing a mask? I have a friend who does not like wearing masks and doesn't like wearing face paint. So before you pick out a costume, are you good with not only spending the money on, but wearing a wig, gluing jewels to your face, painting your face? How far on with makeup are you willing to go? Like, is it like, oh, I'm okay with splashing a little fake blood somewhere on my shirt. I really don't want anything touching my face. If you are going to be, say, a character from Naruto who has the fancy eyes, I cannot think of their name right now off the top of my head, but yeah, like if you contacts are a thing that you need to pull off a character, how comfortable are you with putting a contact in your eye? Some people cannot do that. Some people can't even do eye drops. So personal comfort level is absolutely the next thing to take in after you've gone, okay, I'm okay with wearing blah, blah, blah at the venue. I understand temperature. Where is my comfort level? The time is also kind of hand in hand with all of those things. If you're only going to be outside for a short time, it doesn't really matter if it's super hot or super cold if you're going to be in a temperature controlled environment for the longest period of time. Or, okay, I'm not really comfortable in the like traveling in my Uber with a stranger or with a group of strangers in a belly dancer costume, but once I actually get to my event, I can wear a coat on the way there or something like that. The time that you're going to be spent in the costume, how long are you going to be comfortable wearing jewels on your face and heavy makeup or a heavy costume piece? Carrying around a random staff if that's not something you're used to. I'm perfectly comfortable wearing this for 10 plus hours, as I have been today, but that's not everybody. Also, writing off that comfort level of how trendy do you want to be. Now, I have no shame. If, when the Barbie movie came out and everybody wanted to be Barbie or Ken, that's cool. I don't care if you want to be Beetlejuice or Lydia this year because of the Beetlejuice movie coming out. I'm okay with people wanting to be trendy, but you need to decide that for yourself. Like, do I want to be kind of on trend? Is that what I'm going for? Or do I want to be weird? I don't want anyone else to wear the same costume I have. I want people to go, hey, have you seen so and so? I don't know. What are they dressed as? Oh, you'll know. They're dressed as this. I don't know. But it's like, how weird are you willing to be for the time period? What's your trend level? Because keep in mind, if something is trendy, you're going to have more access to it and probably at a better price. There'll be lots of more affordable versions of it available because of the popularity and demand for it. If you're going for something super obscure, there are these things to keep in mind. Not only is it harder to find pieces, you're probably going to be making a lot of pieces yourself, doing a lot of makeup yourself, etc. But you also are going to run the risk of nobody knowing what you are or who you are. And you might not care, but you will not believe the level I have dealt with of people going, I tell them what I am or who I am. They don't know who it is, and therefore it's a bad costume. No matter how elaborate or cool looking it might be, if people don't know what it is, if you're planning on entering a contest of some kind, for instance, notability, recognizability are going to come into play. So just consider that. I'm doing this a few weeks ahead of Halloween to give you some time, but also consider when is this event that you're doing, or if you're handing out treats, whatever. How long do you have to actually save up for, order, and make sure it comes in? And make sure that it comes in on time for you to get dressed up and dolled up. Or are you more of a, I want something I can literally like just have hanging, and I'll be watching a movie and somebody go, hey, we actually have plans, I'm coming to pick you up in 5 minutes, and you can throw it on. Like, what's that time frame looking like for you? And my final tip, of course, it has to do with budgeting and money. How much are you willing to invest and spend in this? I reuse and rework and play up different costumes all the time. I have been collecting costumes and accessories for many years, but not everybody's like that. So, how much are you willing to invest in this? Maybe give yourself a budget of, okay, my Halloween costume or costumes cannot exceed this amount. And that means everything included, a wig, shoes, contacts, everything cannot go above this amount. And then you'll have an easier time. It's like, you know what? Maybe I won't do a full Beetlejuice ensemble this year. Maybe I'm more of the Shaggy kind of guy or gal. And of course, make sure it's something you actually want to be. When you're picking out your costume, you're not going to be comfortable no matter what the weather is, no matter how much skin is or is not revealing, whatever. If it's not something you actually want to be, don't just settle for something out of cheapness. Make sure it's okay if something's inexpensive or is cost effective. It's perfectly fine as long as you're going to be happy in it. Are you going to be dressed up and be like, I'm confident in this, I like it? Now, some people are not that into Halloween, so they like throw on a costume usually for the sake of a party for someone else, like, yeah, I'm a Grim Reaper. And some people are chill with that. But again, make sure it's something that you are actually wanting to be. Because, like, not everybody wants to be this. Not everybody wants to be this all the time. So, those are my little tips and tricks for choosing a Halloween costume. If you just don't know what you want to be, or if there's just too many options and you need to find a way to, cluck off. That's not any kind of a phrase. If you just want to cut off a bunch of choices pretty quickly, like I said, weather is a big one for me. Hey, we're going to be outside most of the time. All right, I will not be a belly dancer. I, in fact, will not be Nico Robin outside or something like that. Happy Halloween, happy costuming. I hope that we can all get through whatever trying times we're going through, and I will see you all in the next video.